In the world of celebrity culture, relationships rarely exist in isolation. Every interaction, every photograph, every dinner sighting can ripple outward into something much bigger. And when those ripples involve one of the most famous families in America, the speculation can spread like wildfire. Over the past several months, fans of the Kardashian-Jenner empire have been asking a question that sounds almost too dramatic to be real. Could Lewis Hamilton, the seven-time Formula One world champion, global fashion icon, and one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet, be unintentionally creating tension between sisters Kim Kardashian and Kendall Jenner? It's the kind of headline that instantly grabs attention. A Formula One legend. Two of the most famous sisters in modern pop culture. And a web of rumors, social media clues, and public appearances that has fans dissecting every moment. But what actually happened? Is there real tension behind the scenes? Or is this simply another example of how internet speculation can transform ordinary celebrity interactions into a dramatic narrative? To understand why this story has exploded across social media, we need to step back and look at the bigger picture, because the intersection of sports, fashion, and celebrity culture has created a situation where even the smallest moments can spark massive conversations. Tonight, we're diving deep into the timeline, the rumors, the reactions, and the reality behind one of the internet's most talked about celebrity questions. Is Lewis Hamilton truly at the center of a Kardashian-Jenner family tension? Or is the internet connecting dots that were never meant to be connected in the first place? Let's break it down to understand why this rumor has captured so much attention. You first have to understand the immense cultural influence of the people involved. For more than a decade, the Kardashian-Jenner family has dominated reality television, social media, and celebrity headlines. At the center of that empire sits Kim Kardashian, a media personality who transformed a reality TV platform into a multi-billion-dollar business ecosystem spanning beauty, fashion, and entertainment. From her early days on Keeping Up with the Kardashians to her current ventures in business and criminal justice reform advocacy, Kardashian's influence reaches far beyond celebrity gossip. She has built a brand that combines pop culture visibility with massive entrepreneurial success. But within the Kardashian-Jenner family, each sibling has carved out their own distinct public identity. Kendall Jenner, for example, followed a very different path. Rather than focusing on reality television or traditional celebrity branding, Jenner pursued a career in high fashion, quickly rising through the ranks of the modeling industry. She has walked for some of the most prestigious designers in the world, appeared on countless magazine covers, and built a reputation as one of the most recognizable models of her generation. The sisters have always maintained a complex dynamic, sometimes supportive, sometimes competitive, and often very public. Reality television gave audiences an unusually close look at their family interactions, meaning viewers have spent years analyzing everything from playful disagreements to serious conflicts. But what happens when a global sports icon enters that already complicated ecosystem? Enter Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton isn't just a successful racing driver. He is widely considered one of the greatest competitors in the history of Formula One. Over the course of his career, Hamilton has captured multiple world championships, broken countless records, and become one of the sport's most influential figures. Yet his impact extends far beyond the racetrack. Hamilton has cultivated a powerful presence in the worlds of fashion, music, activism, and entertainment. He has appeared at events like the Met Gala, collaborated with luxury fashion houses, and regularly interacts with celebrities across multiple industries. Because of that crossover appeal, Hamilton frequently moves in the same social circles as high-profile figures from Hollywood, music, and fashion. And that's where the story begins to take shape. Over the years, Hamilton has been spotted at various events alongside members of the Kardashian-Jenner family. Sometimes these interactions were purely professional or social, fashion events, parties, or mutual industry gatherings. But in the era of social media, even casual interactions can become the spark for widespread speculation. Fans watch everything. Who follows whom on Instagram? Who sits next to whom at Fashion Week? Who appears in the background of a photo? And sometimes, Those observations turn into theories. In many ways, this situation reflects something larger about modern celebrity culture. Today's entertainment landscape is built on interconnected networks of influence. Athletes collaborate with musicians. Models attend sporting events. Reality stars launch fashion brands. When you place globally recognized figures like Kim Kardashian, Kendall Jenner, and Lewis Hamilton into the same cultural orbit, speculation is almost inevitable. But speculation alone doesn't create viral headlines. There has to be a trigger. A moment that causes fans to stop scrolling and start asking questions. In this case, that moment appears to have emerged from a series of social media interactions and public appearances that fans began connecting together. Some online commentators began suggesting that Hamilton had developed a friendship, or possibly something more, with one member of the Kardashian-Jenner family. Others speculated that the dynamic might have created awkwardness between siblings. It's important to emphasize that no confirmed reports from reliable sources have stated that Hamilton is responsible for tension between the sisters. But on platforms like X, TikTok, and Instagram, that hasn't stopped the rumor mill. Because in the age of viral culture, speculation spreads fast, and once a narrative takes hold online, it can be incredibly difficult to separate fact from interpretation. Part of the reason this rumor gained traction is the simple fact that all three individuals involved occupy massive cultural spaces. Kim Kardashian commands an enormous following across social media platforms, with hundreds of millions of fans watching her every move. Kendall Jenner has her own global audience in both the fashion and lifestyle worlds. And Lewis Hamilton's fan base extends across continents thanks to the international popularity of Formula One. When those three spheres collide, the internet notices. And once the conversation starts, every detail becomes potential evidence in a much larger narrative. A photo from a party, a brief conversation at an event, a social media follow. For fans, these tiny clues can feel like pieces of a puzzle waiting to be assembled. But are they really clues, or simply coincidences? That question lies at the heart of this story. There's another reason stories like this gain traction. They fit into a familiar narrative structure. Audiences have always been fascinated by stories involving relationships, rivalries, and family dynamics, especially when they involve famous figures. Reality television helped normalize that kind of storytelling. For years, viewers watched the Kardashian-Jenner family navigate friendships, romantic relationships, and sibling disagreements on camera. That means fans are already conditioned to view the family's lives through the lens of narrative drama. When rumors emerge suggesting possible tension, audiences naturally lean into that storyline. But it's important to remember something crucial. What happens online doesn't always reflect reality. Social media rewards speculation. Algorithms amplify drama. And rumors often spread faster than confirmed information. So while the idea that Lewis Hamilton might be causing tension between Kim Kardashian and Kendall Jenner has generated massive attention, the real story may be more complicated and far less sensational than the internet suggests. To truly understand how this rumor began and why it continues to circulate, we need to examine the timeline. When did Lewis Hamilton first appear in the same social circles as the Kardashian-Jenner family? What interactions actually occurred? And which moments triggered the wave of speculation that now dominates online discussions? In the next part of this investigation, we'll break down the timeline step by step, examining the public appearances, social media moments, and fan theories that transformed a few celebrity encounters into one of the internet's most talked about rumors. Because sometimes, the truth behind a viral story is more surprising than the rumor itself. And sometimes, it reveals just how powerful celebrity culture has become in shaping the conversations we all see online. As rumors swirl online, one of the most important responsibilities of responsible journalism is separating speculation from verified reality. In stories involving global celebrities, especially individuals as recognizable as Lewis Hamilton, Kim Kardashian, and Kendall Jenner, that task becomes even more critical. Because in the digital age, timelines matter. Fans don't just read headlines anymore. They investigate. They scroll through old photos, analyze interactions at public events, compare Instagram follows, and even track who appears in the background of celebrity parties. And in this case, the timeline of events, real events, became the foundation for a rumor that spread across social media at lightning speed. So let's walk through what actually happened step by step. Not speculation, not viral TikTok theories, but the real moments that sparked one of the internet's most talked about celebrity questions. To understand how this conversation even started, we have to go back several years. The worlds of Formula One, high fashion, and celebrity culture have increasingly overlapped over the past decade. Drivers are no longer just athletes confined to the racetrack. They're global brands. And perhaps no driver has embraced that crossover more than Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton has long been a regular presence at major fashion events, including the Met Gala, fashion weeks in Paris, Milan, and New York, and various high-profile entertainment gatherings. These events often bring together athletes, musicians, actors, and models in the same rooms, which means that Hamilton's social circle naturally overlaps with figures from the fashion world, including Kendall Jenner. Jenner, of course, has spent years working as one of the most recognizable models in global fashion. Her career has taken her from runway shows for luxury designers to editorial campaigns across the world. So the two have existed within the same professional ecosystem for quite some time. Industry events, after-parties, and mutual acquaintances make interactions almost inevitable. But those early interactions never generated major headlines. At the time, they appeared to be exactly what they were, two high-profile public figures moving in the same circles. Nothing more. Things began to attract more attention in later years when fans started noticing that Hamilton and members of the Kardashian-Jenner family occasionally appeared at the same social gatherings. These sightings were rarely dramatic. Sometimes it was a photograph taken at a fashion event. Other times it was a moment captured by paparazzi outside a party. In many cases, the celebrities involved were surrounded by dozens of other well-known figures. But social media has a way of isolating those moments. Fans screenshot. They zoom in. They analyze body language. And sometimes they create narratives that extend far beyond what the original moment suggested. One of the earliest sparks in the rumor cycle came when online users noticed Hamilton interacting socially with Kardashian-Jenner family members at industry events tied to fashion and entertainment. Because Hamilton has relationships with multiple fashion designers and brands, his presence at these events was hardly surprising. Likewise, the Kardashian-Jenner family has long maintained strong ties within the fashion industry. Still, the internet began to connect dots. Were these just casual social interactions? Or something more? In modern celebrity culture, social media plays a massive role in shaping public narratives. A follow. A comment, a like. These tiny digital gestures can suddenly become headline material when fans begin reading deeper meaning into them. At various points, online observers noticed interactions between Hamilton and members of the Kardashian-Jenner circle on platforms like Instagram. But here's where things get complicated. Social media interactions between celebrities often reflect professional networking rather than personal relationships. Models follow athletes. Athletes follow designers. Designers follow actors. It's a digital web of industry connections. Still, that hasn't stopped fans from speculating. Some users began compiling posts, comparing timelines, and suggesting that Hamilton might have developed friendships within the Kardashian-Jenner circle. And because Kendall Jenner's career places her directly within the fashion ecosystem where Hamilton often appears, fans began focusing heavily on that potential connection. But at this point, nothing had been confirmed by reliable sources. No official statements. No confirmed relationships. Just observations, then something interesting happened. Online discussion shifted from curiosity to storytelling. What began as casual speculation started evolving into a larger narrative. Certain fan communities began suggesting that Hamilton's presence within the Kardashian-Jenner social orbit could potentially create awkward dynamics. The theory, again not confirmed by credible reporting, suggested that if Hamilton were close to one sister, it might create tension with another. This is a common trope in celebrity gossip culture. But it's important to note that credible entertainment journalists have not confirmed any such family conflict tied to Hamilton. Still, the story spread. And once a rumor gains traction on platforms like TikTok or X, it can reach millions of viewers in a matter of hours. Videos began appearing with dramatic titles. Posts speculated about secret tensions. Comment sections exploded with debates. Some fans dismissed the idea immediately. Others leaned into the drama. Part of the reason the rumor resonated so strongly with audiences has to do with the long history of public fascination surrounding the Kardashian-Jenner family dynamic. For years, reality television offered audiences a glimpse into the sisters' relationships. Sometimes those relationships appeared supportive. Other times they showed moments of disagreement or rivalry. That openness made the family feel unusually accessible to viewers. Fans felt like they knew them. So when online speculation suggested a possible tension involving an outside figure like Lewis Hamilton, audiences were already primed to imagine how that storyline might unfold. But again, imagination is not evidence. And separating those two things is crucial. As the online conversation grew, entertainment media outlets began taking notice. However, most credible publications approached the topic cautiously. Instead of presenting the rumor as fact, many reports framed it as a trending social media discussion. Headlines began appearing along the lines of, "Fans speculate about Lewis Hamilton's connection to the Kardashian-Jenner circle," or "Internet debates possible celebrity friendships between Hamilton and members of the Kardashian family." The language mattered. Responsible outlets avoided confirming anything that hadn't been verified. But even cautious coverage helped amplify the conversation. Once traditional media acknowledges a viral rumor, even to debunk it, the story often reaches an even larger audience. Every viral story has a tipping point. A moment when the conversation explodes beyond niche fan communities and enters mainstream online discourse. In this case, that tipping point appears to have come when social media creators began producing commentary videos analyzing the rumored connections. Short-form videos dissected celebrity interactions. Podcast clips debated the possibility of tension. Reaction channels weighed in with their own interpretations. Suddenly, millions of people who had never even thought about the relationship between Lewis Hamilton and the Kardashian-Jenner family were hearing about it. And once curiosity spreads at that scale, the internet does what it always does. It speculates. But amid all the speculation, one critical question remains. Is there actually any verified evidence that Lewis Hamilton has caused tension between Kim Kardashian and Kendall Jenner? As of now, credible reporting has not confirmed any such conflict. No public statements from the individuals involved suggest that Hamilton is at the center of a family disagreement. No reliable sources have reported a dispute tied to him. That doesn't mean fans will stop speculating. Celebrity culture thrives on storytelling. And when three global figures intersect within the same social universe, the internet naturally wants to create narratives around those interactions. But the difference between narrative and reality is exactly what we'll explore next. By the time the internet begins asking whether Lewis Hamilton might be creating tension between Kim Kardashian and Kendall Jenner, something important has already happened. The story has moved beyond speculation among small groups of fans. It has become a cultural conversation. At that point, the question shifts. It's no longer just about whether the rumor itself is true. It becomes about something much larger. Why do these stories spread so quickly? Why do audiences become emotionally invested in celebrity dynamics? And what role does modern media play in amplifying narratives that may or may not reflect reality? To answer those questions, we need to step outside the rumor cycle and examine the mechanics behind it. Because the intersection of sports, fashion, and entertainment has created a powerful ecosystem where perception can become just as influential as fact. Over the past 2 decades, the boundaries between different entertainment industries have largely disappeared. Athletes collaborate with fashion designers. Reality television personalities build billion-dollar companies. Models become global lifestyle brands. And musicians launch fashion lines that dominate pop culture. Few people represent this convergence more clearly than Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton is widely regarded as one of the greatest drivers in the history of Formula One. His championships, race victories, and longevity in the sport have cemented his legacy as one of the defining athletes of his era. But Hamilton's influence goes far beyond racing. He has built relationships with designers, artists, musicians, and activists. He has appeared at fashion weeks, collaborated with major brands, and used his platform to advocate for social and environmental causes. In other words, Hamilton exists at the center of multiple global industries. And that means he regularly interacts with people who occupy very different corners of celebrity culture, including the Kardashian-Jenner family. Kim Kardashian built a media empire through reality television and entrepreneurship. Kendall Jenner built her reputation through high fashion modeling. Lewis Hamilton built his reputation through elite athletic performance.